Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I love how many different areas are represented here, from Connecticut to Texas, Las Vegas, California. What a representation of exactly who's here at TCU. And I love seeing so many of you on tonight. We will record this and share it out as well. So if you miss any information, it will be available to you to look back on. But we have some MVPs here tonight to talk us through all of your next steps after committing to TCU. So I'll start. My name is Mandy Castro. I serve TCU as the Dean of Undergraduate Admission, and I'm going to call on those that are around the screen. We're going to answer lots of your questions, but I want you to know who they are. And if you want to, start putting some questions in the comments area, and we will happily answer those for you. Let's kick off first with Adrian Andrews.
Oh, Mandy, thank you very much. My name is Adrian Andrews. Good evening. I am the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Public Safety. I supervise the men and women of the TCU Police Department, our Director of Emergency Management, our Director of Clearing Compliance and Parking and Transportation.
Thanks, Adrian. Craig Allen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig Allen. I'm the Executive Director for Housing and Fraternity and Sorority Life. So those two departments are under my purview.
Thanks for being here, Craig. Mr. Jude Kaya.
Sorry, I had to grab I don't remember all the people I supervise. My name is Dr. Jude Gaia. I am the Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and the Chief Financial Officer of the division. And I supervise facilities, ID center, quality enhancement, marketing, all of dining, the bookstore, all of our business and operations.
Thanks for joining us this evening. And Dr. Emily Ivy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emily Ivy. I serve here at TCU as the Director of New Student and Family Programs. So that means I'm overseeing our orientation program, our Frog Camp program, a lot of our onboarding and welcoming programs for our newest students, including Frogs First. And I also get the opportunity to serve parents and family members of all of our TCU students. So excited to be here tonight. Thanks so much, Mandy.
Fantastic. As you can see, we've got quite the stacked lineup here to help you. I think that it's important for us to understand who TCU is in this process. And you've gotten to know us enough to be admitted to our institution, and you're ready to make a commitment to join us for the fall. And you know that there are about 14 to 1 faculty people to help you, or 14 to 1 of you per every faculty person. Just around the screen goes to show another statistic that's really important to TCU. There's about 4.5 staff people for every one of you to help you with the things that you're doing on campus. And we want to help guide you through the process of onboarding as a new student. And we understand that this is an exciting time. It's probably one we can demystify today, simply because all these schools operate differently. And while we would love to have a standardized process across the board, we're all unique in our own ways, and you'll find that right here at TCU as well. So as you're looking ahead, we're nearing May 1st. May 1st is our enrollment commitment deadline. So your commitment deposit can be made in your My TCU portal. You can log into that, find that button that says commit to TCU, click on that, you can pay your deposit, and then from there, all of the doors of opportunity that lie with all of the people on screen are available to you. So we've helped you through the process of getting here. Hopefully you've been in touch with our financial aid office. You've gotten some of the information there. Now it's all of the next steps. So after I've committed to TCU, what's next? So we would tell students our first step might be to schedule an orientation session and maybe a Frog Camp session as well. So I'm going to pitch to Dr. Ivy and say, how do you schedule this orientation session, and what do we do when we're there?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So our orientation as well as our Frog Camp registration process opened up on March 26th. So we've been open for not quite a month now. So we already have lots of students registering for both orientation as well as Frog Camp, which is very exciting for us. It's real easy. It's the same place that you will have logged in to say you're coming to TCU. So just right there in that My TCU portal, Once you pay that deposit, it's going to open up some systems for you. One of those is registering for orientation and Frog Camp. They are slightly different experiences, so give me a moment and I'll do my best to explain them succinctly. I will also let you know that our website, newfrog.tcu.edu, is probably one of the best resources for you. It will link you out to a lot of information that I'm going to share. So orientation is required for all of our first year as well as transfer students. For our first year students, that's going to be a 2-day experience. You will stay overnight on campus with us. That is a requirement. It's a great opportunity for you to see our residence halls, see a little bit about what it looks like to live on our campus. We invite parents and family members to join us for that orientation as well. Students can bring up to 2 individuals with them. So pick your favorite 2 family members and bring them with you to orientation. A great opportunity. Families, you can stay on campus if you'd like. It's actually a really great experience, or you can stay off campus at a local hotel. During orientation, we will have sessions for students. We'll have sessions that students and families attend together, and then we'll have sessions just for our family members and guests. So we're really going to cater that information to those different populations. Again, speaking towards that first year lens for orientation, day 1 is really going to focus on bringing you to the TCU community. Day 2 is going to focus a little bit more on your academic journey. So you'll meet with your college, you'll have the opportunity to have some advising, and you'll actually register for classes during orientation just before departing. A lot of community building, resource awareness, connecting you with peers during orientation. For our transfer students, orientation is still required. It is a 1-day experience. So we're going to condense the information. We know you have a basic understanding of what it means to be a student at a college. We're just going to focus on the TCU lens for you. So transfer students, 1 day. There are some intricacies to the transfer students. You actually have the opportunity to register for your classes early. So make sure you're reading our emails, transfer students, because you get that opportunity to register for your summer as well as fall classes as early as May 7th. So a little bit earlier, whereas our first year students, you're going to do that registration while you're here. That's the orientation recap as succinctly as possible. I will also share that Frog Camp is another tremendous experience out of our office. Not a requirement, but wow, it is a transformative experience for all of our students. In fact, our students last year that participated in Frog Camp had a 0.2 higher GPA. So that alone should convince you that Frog Camp is a tremendous experience. We call that extended orientation. So with Frog Camp, we have a variety of different types of camps, as we like to call them. They just have different themes. So one of them is here in the Fort Worth area. We go to the stockyards. We go to the Fort Worth Zoo. Another one here in the Fort Worth area, we go to a Rangers game. We tour TCU athletics. And then we also have some travel camps as well. Now, those DFW local camps, completely free for you students. So find one that fits with your schedule and come join us. We have some travel camps that have some openings, specifically some camps that are going to Nashville, Tennessee, which Craig Allen and I had the opportunity to go to Nashville last year with students. Tremendous opportunity. And then we also have some spots open in our travel camp that goes to Colorado, which again, it does not matter what Frog Camp you go to. You're going to get a great community building experience. You're going to connect with others, and it will be transformative, whether it's here in DFW or beyond. So that is my kind of quick recap. I know we have some questions coming in, but Mandy, I'm going to kick it back to you for the next point here.
Absolutely. I had one question from Tiffany Hagerman that specifically asked, once registered for orientation, must students also register for the daily events and the sessions that are on the orientation schedule?
Yeah, certainly. Tiffany, I believe that you are likely referencing Guidebook. So Guidebook is an app that we use to distribute the schedule to our new students as well as their family members. So if you haven't already, download the Guidebook app, and then you're going to look for TCU New Student and Family Programs, and that's going to give you access to the schedule. Tiffany, when you're looking at a Guidebook, you can add things to your schedule using the plus sign. You don't have to do that, but if that makes it easier for you to know what you're going to experience, you can. So we are going to guide you from one meeting to another to another. We're not going to leave you alone during that process. So not required, but if you would like to, you can certainly add that for your benefit.
Thank you. Okay, Vanessa Solis also asks is orientation overnight required for the student, even if the family is local?
It is. Yeah, great question. Even if the student is local, we want to do our best to be connecting them with their peers, their upperclassmen, and we have some programming that goes until about 11 o'clock at night. That's going to help them learn more about being a TCU student. So even if they are local, our local students will stay overnight during orientation.
Thanks for that. Okay, Tom mentioned that he's disappointed that the only frog camp he can attend is already full, and now on a waiting list. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes, that is where we're kind of at right now. So I want to acknowledge that some of our sessions are filling up. We are looking at those wait lists daily. And there is a little bit of movement that is happening. In fact, today we were able to make adjustments to move 8 individual students around as spots open. So, Todd, being on a wait list is great because that lets us know you want to be there. We look at those again daily to see when we can move people around as spots open. So be patient with us. We will certainly do our best. If there are any extenuating circumstances, certainly send us an email. It's just frogcamp@tcu.edu, and we want to look into that and do our best to serve you well.
While we're still on this topic of orientation and frog camp, let me hop back over to Valerie Seiler's question. Her daughter is considering a double major, and she wants to know, should she reach out to her advisor before orientation to determine that before arriving, or how does that work?
My understanding is that you can declare a double major within slate. Now, Mandy, you might be able to fill in this gap for us. What we will do during orientation is we will send your student to whatever they are currently admitted to as a starting point for that conversation that your student will share with the advisor so they can strategize what that looks like. Mandy, you may be able to fill in some gaps for me there.
Sure. In your student portal, there should be an option on the right-hand side if you're interested in a double major to indicate what that might be. That doesn't mean that you're going to meet with both of those advisors during orientation, but the advisor that you meet with will have that perspective. Typically, your first year, you're enrolling in classes that are core curriculum that will count for all degrees at TCU, with a smattering of classes that might be major specific. So we'll do our best to get you connected with both the advisors in the areas that you would like to study. So that might be an option for you. You will be advised, like Dr. Ivy said, with your first major that you were admitted to the university. Anything after that would be secondary and probably be handled after orientation. So I just read a question. Hold on, let me find it. Is orientation, this is from Parul, is orientation for both students and parents? I know that you just mentioned this, but want to get a solid answer before we move on.
Absolutely. We want parents and family members to come with their student. We want an opportunity to connect with you, share with you a little bit about how you can support your student during their time here at TCU. So students, when you are registering for orientation and even afterwards, you can go in and add the information for your parents or family members that might be joining you. Just give us their name and email so we can have information prepared. So if you haven't done that yet, students, that's okay. You can go back in at any point in time to your Slate portal and mytcu.edu and add that information for us.
Thanks so much. Okay, there are housing questions blowing up in here. So Craig Allen, it's your time to shine. Why don't we start with just the housing application, and then I'll pitch some specifics to you. There's questions that might keep us busy for a good solid hour, so I'll try to condense them and not repeat myself.
Well, Mandy, that's a great place to start. May 1 at 10 a.m. Central Time, the housing application will open. Students who are deposited, so if they have made their deposit, that information then comes over to us, and we will then activate them so they can go into the portal beginning, keyword here, beginning May 1 at 10 a.m. Central. The application will stay open for the majority of the month of May. I actually don't have that date when it closes, but and there is no difference whether if you apply on May 1 at 10:01 or May 20 whatever at the very last 5 minutes it's open, will have no bearing on where you're assigned, when you're assigned. The application, in fact, you can go into it and then go back a week later and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I want to apply. I want to have a different preference. But so it opens May 1, 10 a.m. That is the same for transfer students. I want to mention it will also be open again as long as they have deposited. If you haven't deposited, or if you make your deposit at the very last minute, it is possible it might be May 2 before you would see the application. But once the deposit is in, the application is available. Let me say one other thing just generally, Mandy, about student housing. Our website, which is housing.tcu.edu, has almost all of what I saw coming up in the questions over here. It has dates, it has move-in, it has the pricing, it has frequently asked questions about roommates and where might I live and all those types of things. So if you spend a little bit of time at housing.tcu.edu, you will likely find the answers to almost all the questions that I'm seeing in the comments section.
Craig, when they submit an application for housing, what kind of information are they asking? So lots of students are talking about roommates or types of rooms. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Sure. Let me unpack that a little bit. We're gonna ask you some information about yourself, and then you'll give us a little information such as I'm a smoker or non-smoker. I like to get up early in the morning or I don't. And there are other questions that help us match students who might not have roommate preferences. However, there'll also be a question where you can list a roommate preference, and you'll have the opportunity to do that in the housing application. So if you know someone and you list them and their student ID number, and they list you and your student ID number, then we know that you're connected. And so students will have the opportunity to do that. We will ask for preferences on where you might want to live based on kind of location and room type. So for example, this year, students can indicate, one would be if you want all female experience, and I'm sorry, that is limited to our female students. That would be Colby Hall. So women could preference Colby. We also have other options like Foster, Waits, and Moncrief. Those will be clustered together. So you could preference those areas. You could preference Shirley, Clark, Hill, and Walsh, or the Commons and P.E. Clark. So the differences being one of those groupings might be more suite style buildings. The other one might be more traditional first year hall. The other one is what we would call shared bath, where there's two rooms that share a bath, but then also a mixture of some traditional double occupancy rooms. The last thing I'll say about room preferences and things on the application, there are other things about making sure that you either have renter's insurance, or if you don't, we have options for you that you might want to consider. There's information about a laundry program that if you want to sign up for a wash and fold laundry, a few other things like that. But most of the information we need to gather is about you and your profile, roommates, and then your preference on which of those areas that you want to live. The last thing I'll say about that, really important to know that 85% of our TCU first year class, Mandy, is going to have a roommate, 85%. So for the students who are coming thinking I need to have my own bedroom, that will be only 15% of our student population. So here at TCU, we value the double room experience, traditional first year programming, and that is how we are geared to operate.
So let's go back to this wash and fold laundry. Is this available for faculty and staff?
It is. It's available at a cost to anyone. But we have washers and dryers in all our buildings. Parents, don't you worry. So it is just simply a service that we offer. There are several hundred students every year that take us up on it, especially for dry cleaning and things of that nature. It gets picked up right on campus, delivered right back to them. And so it's a convenience item that we offer. and it's all part of the housing application.
I love it. I remember being the college student who had my bag of quarters and I had to go sit down and wait for my laundry to finish before moving on to the to the dryer. And then people would get real mad at you if you forgot it. They would
Yeah.
close on
Nowadays,
top
you
of
have
it.
an app that activates the machine, and the app will tell you when your laundry is done. So you have no excuse but to head back down and take it out. And
It's kind of like missing the TV guide. Our kids will never know what it
they'll
was
never
like.
know. And there's no quarters and no cost. It's all included in your room rental.
I love it. Okay, so we've submitted the housing application, and I see that Kimberly Rader and Carrie Ray, is it Rubroker? Sorry if I mispronounced your name, have asked similar questions. And when do we find out where we're going to live, and how do you match us together?
Yeah, it's going to be June 20th that we will assign you. So our office does the assignments. You simply fill out your application, and then your part is pretty much done. And then on June 20th, we will release the assignments. Typically what that means is it's posted in the my.tcu.edu portal. And so students will log in and be able to see their assignment, what room they're in, roommates, and that information is June 20 available to them. How we match is we look at room preferences. We look at roommate preferences. We look at where you said which of those cluster groups of areas that you might want to live in. And then it's an automated system that helps us match people up and assign them. And we spot check it very carefully to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then those assignments are made public to all of our students.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We have one question that asks if we offer dorm room cleaning services.
We do not offer dorm room cleaning. And let me say that is one of the great rites of passage that we all need to learn is to clean our room up. And so, no, we don't offer that. There are private companies that I'm aware of that will tell you that they can come in and clean your room. That is not permitted. They are not insured. They are not vetted. They are not allowed to do that. So please understand that if someone says, oh, we can hire somebody to come and clean our room, that is a no-go. I will have to refer you to the man next to me on the screen, Adrian Andrews, and he will kindly escort those cleaners out of our buildings. We have outstanding housekeeping that cleans everywhere but the room. And so our students just have to learn to manage that 12 by 17 space. And if they can keep that clean, the rest of the building is going to shine and sparkle. Community style bathrooms are cleaned every day for them. Now, if they live in a room that's a suite bathroom or shared bathroom, students will have to clean that themselves. We'll have it clean when they move in. We do a mid-year touch-up, and then they have to keep it clean for spring, and then we clean it again when they move out. But yes, very interesting thing, dorm room cleaning.
So, Craig, we know that the students are moving in. They've got several amenities within the residence halls, and then they have a meal plan that they eat on campus. Can you talk to us a little bit about the different opportunities and places for people to dine on campus and what they might be ready to expect when they arrive?
You know what, Mandy? We have
coming here.
plans, and I'm actually going to tap Dr. Jude Kaya in because he is even more immersed in that than I, and so I'll let him answer that question.
Well, all of our freshmen, all the first year students have an unlimited meal plan that comes with some campus cash on the side and some ability to use meal exchange. So what does all that mean? We currently have two, what we call board or residential dining facilities, one on one side of campus and one on the other. East End Dining at Gutierrez Hall opened in January. It is an unbelievable place. Our students love it. You're going to love it. It is spectacular. And you can eat in either one of those places from 7 in the morning till 9 at night. We also have about 8 other restaurants and a market, a 24-hour Amazon market that you can go in and get stuff at. It's unattended. You just go in and swipe your card, pick what you want and leave. It is that easy. We have a Starbucks that is a fully licensed Starbucks opening in August or September of this coming year. And then during the next couple of years, we'll be fully renovating a Market Square. We'll be adding a Panera Bread over in King Family Commons. So we've really upgraded the dining experience. We continue to do that. We also have takeout. You can go into a board facility and take out food. You can go anywhere you want. We make it just as easy as we can. In addition to that, I would say that our menu has been very warmly received by our students. We're very proud of where we've come in the last couple of years. I think you're really going to like it. For those of you who may have some dietary concern, we do employ a full-time nutritionist on our staff. You can meet with them. They will help guide you through the process of eating in a board facility, what you need to get, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. We're very successful with that as well.
Fantastic. I know that everyone wants to know where they're going to live, who they're going to live with, what they're going to eat, and that makes all of the comforts a little bit stronger, getting to connect with all of those places.
Maybe I know we need to move on, but I just wanted to read in the comments into your last point. One of the things I want to mention is the logistics, and students will see for themselves that at TCU, our buildings are generally smaller. Our staff are well-trained to facilitate students meeting other students. And that is, in fact, what we do in the residence halls all year long. And so, yes, they want to know, you want to know where you're going to live with and who you're going to live with. And but when you come to campus and you meet students who are already here, what you're going to hear over and over again is all of the great friendships they've met. Some of them being roommates, some of them being other people who weren't roommates, and who they live with their second year might be someone different. And all those opportunities, they're not just going to happen in the residence hall, but where students call home, where they go each day, is going to be a very big part of them feeling that sense of belonging. There are people there every day who are there to care for them and help them. And it really is one of the distinguishing things that we do on campus to help our students be successful and happy. And we all know, where do we rank in happiest students, Mandy?
Really?
Number one. There are a lot of questions I see about refrigerators and other things. All that's on our website too. Quick answer is we provide a micro fridge and all the bedding, all your basic essentials, your rooms or your dressers, desks, bed, mattress, all provided. You bring the bedding, bring your favorite pictures of your family to put up on the wall, and that's about all you need.
That's fantastic. I love the sense of community that we build, and thank you for bringing that up, because the students who are working in the halls, the staff that are working in the halls, these are people who really care about you, and they want to help you support through the transition to college. And then I saw a question that came in earlier, and let me get back to this was actually quite early on, asking about what kind of healthcare resources are available to students who may be from out of state. And I love that we are leading into that with this community conversation, because first stop might be right there in your residence hall. And then I see Dr. Cry open his microphone to maybe address this as well.
Yes. So we're proud of the fact that we offer an incredibly competitive and comprehensive student health insurance plan. If you already have your own, you're going to have the opportunity to opt out of our plan. We don't make money on this plan. We simply offer it to make sure that our students, we do require all our students to have health insurance that will cover them in this area. You can go to the website, you can get they're going to send you some stuff about whether you qualify or you don't. But in short, our plan does have full coverage. We have a doctor, several doctors on our staff, full nursing on our staff. We have a pharmacy benefit in our plan, and it's very competitive. So we're proud to continue to offer that at no addition. We just passed the cost from United Health on. About 4,000 of our students actually do take that and subscribe to it. And so it's about 1/3 of our students actually do use it. The other 2/3 waive out with their own insurance.
That's fantastic. I love the connectedness of the community. Parents, you are not just sending your children to TCU. Dr. Ivy is actually over new student and family programs. So there are programs specified just for you all to connect with one another. And what I love seeing is when families have something come up where, oh my gosh, my child had, crashed her scooter and needs to go to a local hospital. Where do I go? And they post to our family Facebook group, and the community comes and says, oh, you should go here. I'll go check on them. I'm local. And I've loved seeing the community that rallies around the families whenever they need something like that. So please stay connected as parents. In addition to just lending your students to us for a few years, we want to onboard you as the family as well. So we have had a wonderful year at TCU. And just so you all know, over 23,000 students applied for your admission position at TCU for an undergraduate first-year student. That's competitive. And you were chosen because we think you will be a great Horned Frog. So let me start with that. We hand select you for a variety of reasons, a connection to your major, what you bring to our campus. But what we want to do is provide an opportunity for you to thrive once you get here. Our campus is growing and changing. This is a place that is evolving. And what's great about TCU, and I've been here for the past 7, almost 8 years, is that in the past amount of time that I've been here, I have been a part of dialogues and conversations that have helped shape what you're going to walk into over the next year. And that's super exciting. So you have a voice here, and one that we want you to use. Part of that comes with big visionaries who have challenged us to be a different TCU. And those of you who have been Horned Frog fans for a long time have gotten to see us rise to almost competing for the national title in football. We have won our tennis tournaments. We've placed in NCAA for women's rifle, for various different opportunities on campus. And it's an exciting place to be a Horned Frog. That's coupled with our research opportunities. And I don't have to sell you on the academic piece of TCU. This is where we thrive. This is where our students are stepping in and they're achieving at really high levels. And that's why we need facilities, and that's why we need athletics, and that's why we need the whole environment that makes TCU the whole package. We hear our president say all the time, you don't have to sacrifice anything to be at TCU. You don't have to sacrifice the big city and the internship opportunities, and you don't have to sacrifice uncomfortable housing. And so I want to pitch this to Dr. Kaya, because he has been on the ground floor of some of the future vision of TCU. And I'd love for you maybe to take a few minutes and just paint the picture of what we're about to embark on, and what we've actually already started. You mentioned Gutierrez Hall, and that's just phase 1, and we're moving into several phases. So maybe if you don't mind taking a few minutes and helping to show us what TCU is going to be over the next few years.
Well, I love that you said ground floor. And that's funny. You're coming to TCU at a time that is going to be inimitable in our 150-year previous history and 150 years into the future. For those of us who have been planning and hoping for the approval, which came last Friday, this is a time of, we're wide-eyed. We're about to grow out our campus by about, inside of our envelope, probably just short of 4,000 beds. It's like 3,700, 3,800 beds. And to put that in some kind of perspective so that Craig doesn't come off his chair, it's somewhere about 80% of our campus again. So if you took our entire campus and we added 80% to that, that's about what we're looking at. Now, about 2,500 of those beds will be first and second year, and the balance of them will be juniors and seniors that won't be our properties, but will be inside of our envelope. So what are we doing this for? Well, the TCU experience, the student experience, means trying to be as close to the envelope as is possible. And the university has decided to make a significant investment in making sure that our students, as many students as we can get, can stay inside of our envelope for as long as possible. We want to guarantee the first and second years so that we can continue to grow and guarantee that particular experience, and then have those juniors and senior experience both on our campus and slightly off our campus so that our students are not having to go much further afield. This plan includes retail on the first floor. It has some office space as well, but it is all very similar to the same type of architecture that we have on our campus now. If you want to, and you go to Google and you Google TCU new development, that's TCU new development, you will see some pictures on the first link on the top of the page that says 2 major resident life developments to expand TCU. Now, this is in addition to the fact that we just added 300 beds to our inventory in January, and we purchased another property that was inside our envelope, which added another 600 beds to our inventory in the last year. So we added almost 1,000 beds to our inventory in this calendar year, and we will add all of those additional in the next coming years. We expect for the first of those buildings to come online in the fall of 2027. This does mean for you that the Murado, which you will see in some of those links, which will be specifically opening for juniors and seniors, will be open to you to live on inside of our envelope when you get there. This is a welcome change, I think, for many of our parents, as many folks get here, and within even a month or two, they've begun to think about, what is going to be their living arrangements in their junior and senior year. This has become an increasing concern for us, and so we're very glad to tell you that there's help coming. And so by the time you get there, there will be even more beds far more beds than what we have right now. Another intent is to build out Berry Street into a Fort Worth destination. It has, I will use the word gentrified quite a bit over the last probably 20 or 30 years, but it hasn't come as far as we would like. And so the university is making an additional investment in that space to bring higher end retail. For those of you who have been in Fort Worth, if you've been to Clear Fork, it'll be similar to that. And it will go from where our current campus store is all the way down to where the TCU Hyatt is. That is very significant. As you'll read, it's somewhere between $500 and $600 million in investment. So it's really an exciting time to think about the growth of our campus, not just in beds, but our campus growing from a campus of about 12,000 students to ultimately about 17,500, including our graduate programs, over the next coming years. That is a very challenging environment, but a lot of people want to be a frog, and we are learning to build our infrastructure to provide for that outcome.
I appreciate you saying that. And just for those on the call, that 17,000 students is not going to be in the next year or two. That's a long-term plan. And as we double that in the same breath, say we're going to build the infrastructure so that so our students are supported. What I think I love most about this conversation is that there's room for students on campus where there wasn't before. And I have been on the front lines of telling transfer students that we don't have housing opportunities for you, or some of you have had conversations with families that had students that were in rooms that were designed for 2 people and there were 3 people or something like that. Those are concerns that we've heard you and we're trying to address. And so we're excited to be able to house your students on campus, not just for your first and second year, but for a third year and maybe a fourth year as well, and to make this a community that you can live and thrive in for all 4 years while you're here. So that's super exciting for us. And I'm excited about the retail space and what's going to be the new face of TCU. I know that our students often head over to Clear Fork and do their shopping in other places. It's exciting to see it all. Mr. Adrian Andrews is our Chief Security Officer. He's over parking, he mentioned, which has been a hot topic of conversation. With growth comes some growing pains, and let's talk through some of the growing pains which we might experience.
Super. Because of two things I've heard tonight is community and growth. And both of those things are very true right now. With this new master plan that we're talking about, that Dr. Kaya talked about specifically, we're looking at expanding the university. And if we're doing that, usually what that means is available space or lots are taken up to build buildings on. And that what that does is that takes away some of the parking. At one time, in my position, every year the young people come into my office and ask me about parking spaces at TCU. And in the past, I've always been able to put the number of people who wanted spaces versus the number of spaces we had, and we always had 3,000 more. Well, now we don't. Because of the growth of the university, a lot of the lots are going to be taken offline temporarily while they build the new buildings. So we're going to have to be creative, we're going to have to be patient, and we're going to have to look at some new avenues of trying to make sure that we do have available parking for the campus. And it's going to have to be a team effort. As everyone knows, we've asked that our first year students do not drive their vehicles. That could be a sacrifice for some, but we hope that it's not. As a father of a young person who went to a college, I didn't want her driving on the UCLA campus or around there anyway, her first year. But so we're asking them to make a little bit of a sacrifice for the common good to make sure that we do have enough available spaces for parking here at TCU. And what we're going to do is make sure also that not only do we look at the spaces that we have now, we want to increase our shuttle service, the routes, the frequency. It's going to be robust, and it's going to be something that TCU would be very proud of. We'll add additional zipper cars and more e-bikes as well to make sure that our young people can get across campus. So those are some of the things that we're looking at. We will have a few exceptions, very few, very, very few exceptions for first year students to come to campus. But we're going to put that information out by June 1st. I would ask everyone, please go to parking.tcu.edu. We are going to put up weekly, possibly daily updates to let you know what is going on with parking, because it is so vitally important. Parking.tcu.edu. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. While we're on the topic of areas that you oversee, some questions have been asked about campus safety. Might you talk us through blue light phones or call boxes through campus, and talk to us about the safety measures that students might experience while here?
Oh, now you're talking my language. This is my love language here, folks. Okay, here's the thing. We know that our young people are very important to what we do here at TCU, and we know that we have to keep them safe. That is our number one priority of the TCU Department of Public Safety. I saw Erica Lane's question about the blue light phones. Erica, those blue light emergency phones, we have more than 200 on campus. We check those to make sure that they're in operating order every week. They call directly to the TCU Police Department dispatcher so that we can dispatch a person to you as quickly as possible. But better than that, we have an app. It's called Frog Shield. Frog Shield is an app that I will personally put on all of your phones once you get here, if I can. I will try to reach out to as many people as possible, and we'll send that out too. You can pick that up on our website as well, the TCU Department of Public Safety website, to learn how to. There it is. There's Frog Shield. You swipe, and the police are coming to you. It works off of the GPS outside, but inside it works off of the Wi-Fi. We can even tell what classroom you're in and what floor you're on. It's pretty amazing, and we take that very serious. We're the only university in the country that does 3 drills at every building on campus. We do the residence halls twice a year. We do a lockdown, we do evacuate, we do seek shelter. Our young people and our RAs and hall directors prioritize that. We make that important because unfortunately, this generation of young people have been doing these drills since they were kids. And usually what we do is we get a lot of thank yous. A lot of young people get to learn their building because they never knew it. And they never knew how to get into the basement of the building, but they do it when we do the drills. And they appreciate that we do that. We want to keep every hair on everyone's head as safe as possible. We take that very personal. And we have a police department of 31 police officers full time, and they are fully commissioned state police officers. We have guards. We have Froggy 5.0. That's a ride share program on campus, if you will. And we have a lot of safety measures that we could go through. And once they get here, we will make sure they're familiar with most of those.
Sounds good. I won't steal your whole orientation pitch, but thank you for opening that conversation. We had a question from Vanessa Solis. Is the shuttle service available now? So for students that will be working further from campus and will need to be on and off campus frequently, will they have an opportunity to ride a shuttle?
Well, our shuttles are on campus for now, and they only go on campus. They don't go off campus, but they are here for campus, and they will be throughout the summer. But as Dr. Kaya mentioned earlier, or maybe didn't, we are right now looking at transit companies to work for TCU to make sure that we get the routes and get the number of buses and all of those things that goes into the transit system to make sure that our people can get across campus when they need to.
That's fantastic. Thank you. All right. I've got a couple more questions that have come in about residence halls. So Craig, can I pitch back to you? Do all the residence halls have suites?
No, most do not. So especially for first year students. For first year students, we will have 2.5 of our buildings in the Commons, Samuelson, Carter, and some of King Hall will be, well, actually, I could have that wrong. It might be Samuelson and King and some of Carter. Point being, there will be some suite style building, and then there are some suite style rooms in P.E. Clark that were for first year students. All of the rest of our inventory for first year students are not suite style buildings. They are traditional double rooms with either pod style or community style bathrooms. And I can tell you that I know from my discussion with parents and students over the years and from my research that I did on student experience, students and parents, I know you get very fixated on bathrooms. Our community style bathrooms are simply not connected to your room. This is not like when I went to school. There are no shower stalls and partitions. You walk into a bathroom, you open a wooden door, you shut the door and lock it, and you're in your own private bathroom. It just happens to not be connected to your room. It's in a community space in the middle of the hall, down the hall, perhaps. So when we say community style bathroom, that is for some people, brings up images that they maybe saw on television or their parents remember when they went to school. That is not what we have here. So community style bathrooms equal private bathroom stalls with locking doors, just like you have at home.
Great. That's wonderful. So Shelley Volner asked, is the initial deposit that we paid when our student was accepted and they committed to TCU required before they apply for housing, or is there a separate deposit that's required for housing?
We do not require a separate deposit. Once your enrollment deposit has been made, you will have access to the application. Now, the application won't open till May 1, and I double checked on my own website. It stays open through the entire month of May. So all the way till June 1st, 8 a.m., we will close it. So technically, if you're up after midnight on June 1, you can still dabble in the housing app, but it'll be open the entire month of May, and you do not need to make any additional payment to have access to it. And remember, it does not matter if you are in there on May 31st at midnight or May 1st at 10:02. Will have no impact on where you're assigned, who you're assigned with, no impact at all.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, Penny Miranda, 18, asked about Are priority classes going to those who do an earlier orientation? So Dr. Ivy, would you mind addressing this? Common concern.
Yes, we hear this a lot. It does not matter what orientation session you come to, our students will leave with a full class schedule. Does that mean they might be taking a math course at 8 a.m. instead of noon? Possibly. But we are fortunate to have a tremendous relationship with all of our academic colleges. We send them data points every Friday during the summer so they know what to expect in regards to our incoming class so that they can adjust the availability of classes throughout. So session 1 through session 11, 12, doesn't matter. We're going to take care of you and make sure that you have the courses you need for your degree.
I think there's a common misconception that all of the seats and all of the classes are open on day one and that they're going to be gobbled up. So we actually roll out seats throughout the orientation. So the students at the final orientation have ample opportunity like the students at the beginning. So I bet you answer that question hundreds of times a summer. So
It's a pretty common one.
Craig, do you happen to know what the move-in date is for first-year students?
Oh, I'm so glad you
Patty's
asked.
interested.
Yes. Move-in dates also on our website. If you go to move-in dates, fall move-in dates, I will just pull it up so I don't get them wrong. Friday, August 8 and Saturday, August 9 and Wednesday, August 13. There are 3 move-in dates for our first-year students. We will assign you to a move-in date and a move-in time. And those we will try to get out shortly after we do room assignments. We do the assignments first, and then we stagger people based on all the where everybody lives. There are some groups of students that will be assigned to certain days. And again, that's on our website under fall move-in dates. You can find that. And we will talk a lot about this at orientation, but essentially August 8, August 9, August 13. But remember, we will assign you to one. Unfortunately, we can't let you pick them because everyone would pick the same, and that would be very chaotic. And Adrian would tell me we can't do that because there's too many cars trying to show up at once. So we will stagger everybody by assigning a move-in date to you shortly after room assignments are made.
Okay. We have time for just a couple more questions, and I've been holding on to this one the whole time because this might be my favorite question that was submitted to date. It comes from Ramia Kelly, and it says, how do you deal with the heat in August? So this one is a free-for-all. What are your best tips? And Craig, I think that this coming on the heels of you talking about move-in was spot on. Maybe we can talk about how we all beat the heat in Texas.
So I'll tell you what, I have 2 things that I'll say. First of all, for frame of reference, on those move-in days, all those August days, I'm typically standing in a parking lot from about 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I feel like I've got this one down. 2 things, you drink a lot of water, like gallons of water. And then number 2, mind over matter. I just tell myself, it's just another nice day out here in Texas. The sun is shining and I'm doing move-in.
Absolutely. How do you all beat the heat?
Yeah, I'm with you, Craig. We, at frog camps, we're out and about. Orientation, we're outside in June and July, and we're right there with frogs first in August. And you gotta drink a lot of water. Wear some cool, comfortable, light color clothing. I think helps as well. When possible, as you're walking across campus, dodge into buildings to get a brief reprieve with AC. And then in full transparency, there are sometimes I just have an umbrella and it's sunny outside and I'm just holding that umbrella up because it does help, but you'll get through it. I promise you'll get through it.
I'm from Northern New York originally, and I have to tell you that the one thing a couple things about this. One is, whatever our temperature is here, if it's 90, it feels more like 80 up north. So I don't find it oppressive until it gets over 100. And then it's like, wow. And you're outside in the morning and you're outside in the evening. But the two things that I really like about Texas weather is we get 100 more days of sun than we did in the Northeast. 100, which is just hard to tell you what that does for your mood. It's no surprise that our students are the happiest in the country. They've got a lot of sunshine. And the second thing I would tell you is I love to run at night, and we have a lot of warm nights. And it's just wonderful to be outside and just enjoy the evening all the way till 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And it never really chills off. So it's really nice. I like those warm nights to sit outside and walk and run and those types of things.
We have an average of 229 days of sunshine a year. So
that's what I'm talking about.
To a sunny place and with happy people. But as you can see, we have just killed almost an hour together, and we have so many more questions that we could answer. We're going to try to get to as many of those as we can, getting back to you, answering your questions. However, I do want you to know that all of this information that we have shared is available in various places on our website. You've been told the parking site, you've been told the new student family site, you've been told the housing sites. All of these are available resources to you. You've got an admission office full of admission counselors that have been working with you to get you onto campus, and we're here to answer questions for you as well. But much of this is going to be unpacked in detail for you at your orientation session. So you're going to sit down with advisors, you're going to talk through campus safety, you're going to cast the vision and get to understand your place and what is going to be your new home. You'll have living arrangements and dining arrangements and all of the ancillary pieces that help make your Horned Frog experience. And we'll go over those in detail for you. So we're excited for you. We're excited for the future of TCU. We're happy to partner in it together. And again, parents, this is your place too. So welcome home, Horned Frogs. If you have trouble with your commitment deposit, please let us know. I'm happy to help you with any of those questions. And we want to leave you like we leave all of our staff meetings. Make a peace sign, make it angry, and go Frogs.